Dating men by zodiac sign. Find out what it is like to date men of each zodiac sign. What it is like to date men of each zodiac sign: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. What makes each zodiac sign tick? Their likes, dislikes, their approach to love and romance, characteristics and personality traits. You can know all there is to know about each zodiac sign. Dating an Aquarius man. When you fall in love with an Aquarian guy, Aquarians are the great visionaries of the zodiac. Their love lives are marked by the open-minded and inquiring intellect, which also informs their natures. Born in between 20th January and 19th February, Aquarians make for generous and companionable relationships, and here is how the Aquarius man is the original rebel. He powers deep over what makes the world tick and comes up with ideas and hypotheses which seem to be way ahead of his time. This is why he is attracted to the new and different. So the best way to get the attention of your Aquarius date would be to stand out from the crowd, not so much in terms of dress and appearance, but in your approach to life. Show him that your thoughts and ideas do not take their counter from mere tradition, but spring up from your own mind. If this seems too complicated, just make sure to avoid the trite and the conventional. Don't, for instance, root for the latest band or a football team just because everybody else seems to think they're great. Reveal your individuality and opinions and actions, and your Aquarius date will look at you anew. The great innovator that he is, the Aquarius man is attracted to the highly advanced, whether in case of ideas, knowledge or technology. This is evident from the fact that he is often a sucker for the latest gadgets or the newest gaming consoles. So when you are in his company, don't take pride in being technologically challenged and crib about how modern science is destroying the world. Even if you do not share his enthusiasm for gadgets that look like tablets and cost the earth, adopt a more balanced view about how new thoughts and knowledge should be used. Alternately, you could try out the Helpless Susan act and ask for his help in recording your favorite TV show while you are out. Aquarians love to help others, and soon you will have your man fiddling with DTH recorder in your own apartment while you can think of other things to do. Like the element which characterizes the sign, Aquarians are airy, detached people. They are not comfortable in deeply emotional relationships and like their actions to be governed by their rational mind. An Aquarius man will be proud of his individuality and keen to keep his personal affairs to himself. As a result, he might want to maintain a distance even with people he is fond of. So if you do not find your Aquarius date ringing you up 12 times a day and crashing your inbox with insistent mails, take heart. This is a guy who is cool and collected in his personal life and will move away from entangled, messy affairs, which is also probably why you were attracted to him in the first place. Physical intimacy need not be a pressing requirement in a relationship for an Aquarius guy. He can make a devoted, caring partner, but is unlikely to burn with the heat of an intense passion like a Scorpio man. Interestingly, Aquarians can prove to have an encyclopedic knowledge on sexual matters, which is probably because of their innate curiosity about how things work and can be improved upon. However, when it comes to practical application, and in their own lives, they may not find the idea so thrilling after all. The thing about personal relationships with Aquarians is that they need to feel free. He is not your guy next door who likes a bit of dating and then willingly goes through the ritual of marriages, children and divorces. For him, romance is much more than conventional notions of marriage and family. And he is definitely not one to succumb to any value system just because it has been validated by tradition. In fact, an Aquarian may be rather partial to the idea of open marriages, where neither partners are bound by restrictions and expectations. Romance to an Aquarian guy is more about companionship and compatibility, especially intellectual. Above everything, you need to be a friend to your Aquarius man with whom he can look forward to an intelligent and lively exchange of thoughts and ideas. While an Aquarius man believes in keeping an emotional distance in his relationships, he is also likely to have a lively circle of friends and acquaintances. This is essentially because of his sociable nature and his tendency to be polite and agreeable in company. So in engaging the attentions of your Aquarius guy, you may find yourself competing with his large social circle who may be equally attracted by your man's brilliant mind. In fact, you may find many Aquarians keeping in touch with their friends even after they have been married, since this is important for the free and productive exchange of ideas which they thrive on. Coupled with a keen, probing mind, Aquarians are blessed with a genuine altruistic nature. They are drawn to what will make the world a better place to live in, and as a result many famous reformers and progressive thinkers have come from their ranks. Like the symbol of the water bearer which marks the zodiac sign, Aquarians believe in carrying the gifts of knowledge and thought and pouring it out for humanity. So if you are keen on holding on to your Aquarius lover, make sure that you both have identical life goals and ways of looking at the world. Nothing will put off an Aquarian more easily than evidence of mean-mindedness or petty behavior in a fellow human, and if that is you, then he might not be interested in the relationship at all. The Aquarius sign is ruled by two planets, Saturn and Uranus, and perhaps this is why you may be puzzled by a curious duality in your lover. While he has a lively social life, he shuns emotional intimacy. Similarly, he may be motivated by liberal humanitarian ideals, but also impatient and headstrong when faced with resistance to his course of action. However, the best part about being in a relationship with an Aquarius guy is a sense of larger purpose which he will bring to your life, and the deep abiding fulfillment such a partnership will give you. Dating an Aries man. When you fall in love with an Aries guy, Aries is the sun sign of a person born in between 20th March and 20th April. Bearing the sign of the Ram, a man with this zodiac sign is mostly strong, independent and masculine. Here are a few nuggets of wisdom on what it is like to date an Aries guy and how to keep him interested. A man born into the sign of Aries is usually frank about what he feels and thinks. If you are in a relationship with this guy and you surprise him with a fantastic outfit on a date, his appreciation is likely to be spontaneous and genuine. You don't have to worry about what he may be really thinking or if his compliments have an ulterior motive. At the same time, his honest appraisal when you are having a bad hair day or have goofed up in the kitchen can leave you bristling and wishing that he had more tact. But then that is the Aries guy for you, emotional and outspoken. Dates with an Aries guy are unlikely to be tame affairs. This is a person brimming with energy, and if he is totally into you, he will make sure that you have the time of your life in his company. For a date, he may just whisk you away to a game of your favorite baseball team and then head out to a Mediterranean restaurant where they have a live band of Syrian drummers. Finally, he may decide to round off the evening by taking you to a tango night for couples. At times you may find yourself too rushed and all the action overwhelming, but an Aries guy needs external stimulation or he quickly becomes bored. If you find the guy at the next table grumbling while filing forms in a bank, chances are that he is an Aries. Too many rules and restrictions irritate him, since he likes to live life on his own terms. When dating such a guy, take care not to take him to a place like a high-security museum or an art gallery, which have too many dos and don'ts. The flip side of this personality trait is, of course, that he is spontaneous and may jump over a private fence just to bring you that spray of flowers which you said were your favorite. Flirting with an Aries guy can be exciting, but take care not to make it a protracted affair. Once you have caught his attention, make sure you go ahead with your moves promptly, especially if you are seriously considering a relationship with this guy. This is because an Aries guy gets impatient when things are moving slowly and is likely to lose interest in too long of chase. Before you know it, you may have lost a great guy. When dating an Aries guy, it is necessary to allow him ample chances of external stimulation. This is a man who likes action and wishes to be in the thick of things. So think twice before interfering with his bi-weekly game of football or when he disappears on whitewater rafting trips for days on end. If you prevent him from taking his physical highs, he is likely to become listless and uninterested in anything that you may offer in exchange. However, while your Aries boyfriend may relish the idea of camping on a windy day, don't expect to find in him a faithful jogging partner. Aries guys usually work in bursts of energy, and any routine physical activity can bore them quickly. Aries men like to put forward their own point of view with great relish. This can make them seem unnecessarily argumentative and sometimes even crude and outrageous. So when you seem to be heading on treacherous grounds with your Aries date, try to avoid controversial topics or those you know are bound to raise his hackles. Such men are likely to believe that they are experts on every subject under the sun and always know where the best truffles can be found in your city or the exact latitude and longitude of the island of Zanzibar. Arguing with such men, especially when they are not seeing straight after a couple of drinks, is a waste of time, and you would do better not to wade into those waters at all. Yet another point to consider when dating Aries men is not to tamper with their ego. Once they feel that their self-respect has been wounded, they can be quick to anger. So if you don't want your Aries boyfriend seething with rage, refrain from putting him down before his friends and family are pointing out that his hair looks weird in his high school yearbook photo. Once his ego is needled, an Aries guy can quickly get into a temper, slam the door in your face, and even do something rash. If you want to have a fulfilling relationship with your Aries boyfriend, make sure that it has enough variety to keep him hooked. Aries men love to do new things and try out new tasks. So ask your guy if he is game for an overnight drive to watch the sun rising on the Rockies. Surprise him with a new skill that you have picked up, like the salsa, and see if he is willing to try it out with you. As a partner, you need to reveal your intelligence and ambition besides knowing how to maintain his interest in the long run. An energetic and emotional relationship is what you are looking at if you are seriously dating an Aries guy. While he may hook you with his open charm and keep you on your toes with his brisk lifestyle, he may, at times, get on your nerves with his impatience and hot-headedness. However, the one thing you can be sure of is that dating such a guy will never lead to a moment of dullness, and even a committed relationship can be full of that variety and spontaneity which is sadly lacking in many long-term pairings. Dating a Cancer man. When you fall in love with a Cancerian guy bearing the sign of the crab, Cancerians are legendary for their emotional sensitivity and homely nature. And these are only two of the many qualities which make for a fulfilling relationship with a Cancer man. Coming as the fourth sign of the zodiac, it includes all those born between 21st June and 22nd July. If dating a Cancerian male, you can look forward to an emotionally satisfying relationship. Not only is he emotional himself, but is gentle and highly sensitive to your wishes and needs too. He has an instinctive sense of people and their desires, and finds it easy to be sympathetic to others. This is probably because of the fact that the sign is ruled by the moon, a feminine energy and a ruler of moods. So when you are upset about something, here's a man who will intuitively lend you his shoulder. And after you have slaved away all evening to cook a handsome dinner for him, you can expect his eyes to come alight with joy and maybe even blink away a tear or two. Since emotions play a strong role in personal relationships with a Cancer, think twice before saying or doing anything to hurt them. A Cancerian male can be extremely vulnerable to criticism and will retreat into his shell if his feelings have been hurt. He can also be more jealous than others, since small things that other lovers would brush off would make him brute and unhappy. He has a strong need for emotional security, and so it is important that you assure him of your love and the fact that you will always stand by him. Loyalty is yet another quality which you can be assured of in a Cancer guy. These men are true to their partners and expect the very same from them too. Perhaps this is what makes a Cancerian male slightly possessive as a lover and inclined to be upset if you are anywhere but by his side. So if you intend to hold on to your Cancer guy, be sure to tell him that he can count on your love and support, and then follow it through. You may be secretly thrilled to find out that your Cancerian lover is looked upon as a leader by other men. His innate sense of loyalty means that he can be relied upon to help in matters of emergency. Furthermore, he is considerate of others, solicitous of their needs, and has an intrinsic sense of responsibility, which is a good thing if you have been planning to take this man home to meet your family. At the same time, while you may take for granted his walking your dog every evening, the same sense of being responsible will also lead him to sit by a sick neighbor or help out an errand boy with a few extra bucks. Despite being gentle and quick to help others, a Cancer man can also be tenacious and strong-willed. Once having taken a decision, he is most likely to insist on having his way, and may not even be above using a little emotional manipulation to do so. The mascot of the crab is the strongest indicator of the one philosophy that rules a Cancerian's life, his love of home and domestic pleasures. Like the crab which carries its home around on its back, a Cancer is proud of his home and family, which will, more likely than not, be large and include the whole extended clan besides close family and friends. The legendary memory of a Cancer guy will find expression on long winter evenings of family stories before a crackling fire, or around the large dinner table groaning under dishes of every kind. If you feel this is exactly your idea of what a perfect evening is, go for the man by all means. However, remember that he may have a tendency of worrying too much about his family or smothering them with excessive attention. But then this the family man for you. A Cancer man is a lover of many things, and not the least of them is nature. While dating a Cancer guy, don't be surprised to find out that one of his most ardent desires is to own a mountain cabin by the side of a gurgling stream, or a house on the beach which is lapped by tiny waves night and day. This is the point to have second thoughts if you are a die-hard city girl and feel the country is for the rustic and retirees. On the other hand, if you too share his love of the outdoors, it would probably be a relationship that would derive great sustenance and vitality from nature. The very quality that makes your Cancerian lover so thoughtful of your feelings makes him over-emotional too. This is a guy who is likely to be upset over minor things and draw into a shell. Think of a crab, and you will realize that during such times no amount of tears and tantrums can make him come around. He will reappear when he is ready to, and not before that. It is this streak that makes Cancerians masters of passive resistance. So despite their kindly and solicitous nature, the few people who have unsuccessfully tried to pry open their shell know that they can be reserved and secretive too. Yet another thing to look forward to while in a relationship with Cancer guy is his intuitive, almost uncanny ability to handle money. A Cancer guy may or may not be very rich, but he is exceedingly unlikely to be broke. The cautious nature of a Cancerian rules out any extravagance or unnecessary expenditure. While this trait may seem to border on the miserly sometimes, especially when he passes by the solider section to buy you a string of pearls, it is a sign of his careful and domestic nature. So if you want to have your Cancer man for keeps, give him a peaceful and comfortable home to come back to. Let him have his space, but also be there for him when he needs you. And you can be sure to have one of the most fulfilling of relationships on your hands. Dating a Capricorn man. When you fall in love with a Capricornian guy born in between 21st December and 20th January, Capricorns are ambitious, stolid and have a strong sense of responsibility. These very traits seem to characterize their love lives too, which may in fact be determined by their professional priorities and choices. Here are a few insights on what it may be like to date or be in a relationship with a Capricorn man. A Capricorn man is largely conventional and believes in the merit of continuing with traditions. If you are hoping to let your Capricorn boyfriend know that you'd have been living with male flatmates to save on rent, be warned. This man cares deeply for what is socially and morally proper and might not be ready to embrace liberal codes of behavior. While going on a date, at least for the first few times, he may tend to stick to the time-tested routine of a movie and a dinner to the extent that you may start finding all this too predictable. However, it is only his way of finding his feet with you, after which he is more likely to ask you for suggestions on where to go and what to do for the evening. Capricorns are also rather cautious in their behavior. While dating a Capricorn guy, you are likely to find him taking his time in warming up to you. This natural reserve on the part of a Capricorn may seem disconcerting at first, but is only his way of judging a person and situation, since it is important for him to know where he stands and how to make his way to the goal. He prefers security and permanence and does not like to experiment just for the sake of novelty. Sometimes, however, a Capricorn might carry his natural seriousness a bit too far so as to appear emotionally distant. While you may be eager to know more about him, he may seem to be unwilling to share his inner thoughts and feelings with you. During his early adult life, a Capricorn is not likely to put much emotional investment in his romantic relationships, which may even have been entered into as a way of furthering social or career prospects. It is only with increasing years, when he has already made a position for himself in his professional field, that a Capricorn may allow himself the luxury of satisfying his romantic needs. So if you are attracted to the male Capricorn personality, look out for older guys, as they will be more willing to give you their time and energy in building a relationship than the younger ones. Capricorns are nothing if not ambitious. Just like the mountain goat that symbolizes this zodiac sign, a Capricorn guy will keep pushing one foot after another until he has reached the top. So if you happen to display disinterest to a Capricorn lover, you have not reckoned with his persistence. He will continue to court you with slow, untiring gestures until you either relent or escape to Nepal. It is this combination of a dogged persistence with professional ambition and a love for material success that makes Capricorns master managers of the world. More likely than not, you will find your Capricorn guy a budding success in the corporate sector, or at least where organizational skills are highly coveted. This is also probably why you were so impressed with how he single-handedly orchestrated your last day to one of the most satisfying evenings you have had in a long time. A tendency to take on responsibility is yet another quality which enables Capricorns to flourish in their professional fields. He will be among the first to volunteer for a project or an assignment, and once having taken it on, will work at it untiringly until it is done. The same quality also makes him extremely valuable to have around in terms of personal crises or emergencies, since he is not one to shirk a responsibility and is more likely than others to see things through. So if you are looking for a man who will stand by you through the highs and lows of life and give you his shoulder to lean on when the going gets tough, then this is perhaps the guy for you. However, the desire to take the initiative in personal and professional lives may come dangerously close to the symptoms of a control freak. Your reliable Capricorn boyfriend who helped you with the move to a new city may seem unwilling to let go of the reins of your life even after you have settled down and are ready to take over. It is not in the nature of Capricorns to delegate responsibility, since they wish to remain in control for as long as possible, not so much out of hunger for power, but perhaps more due to some misguided notion that things will fall apart if they let go of the bridle. This tendency to control others may prove irksome to a partner who is used to taking her own decisions and living her own life. Once you are in a serious relationship with a Capricorn man, chances are that he will pop the question sooner than later. A Capricorn's belief in tradition makes him value a home and family much more than personal freedom and liberal arrangements. He prefers relationships that are solid and grounded like his own personality, and which provide emotional security to all parties concerned. Being a fixed earth sign, a Capricorn is rooted in the body and has strong sensual needs. However, he is much more likely to view these as a distraction, at least in his early adult life, when his chief aim is the attainment of professional success. With the passage of time, you may find your Capricorn lover much less inhibited in his passions and more willing to partake of sensual pleasures. The austerity and dry materialism which characterized his earlier life may in fact be transmuted into a leisurely involvement with the finer things of life. Dating a Gemini man. When you fall in love with a Gemini guy, people born under the sign of Gemini are typically characterized as social and multifaceted. Bearing the image of the twins and born between 20th May to 20th June, a Gemini lover is unlikely to ever let you have a dull moment in life. However, At the same time, you need to keep up with him, or you stand the risk of losing him to a constant need for change and variety. Watch to know what it is like to date a Gemini man and how you can have a relationship with him. Start by frequenting the right places, which, in this case, means bright, intelligent gatherings. A Gemini loves to talk, and more likely than not, you will find him the proverbial life of the party. Such a man will regale his audience with hilarious accounts of his travel or hair-raising stories of his adventures. A Gemini guy likes being surrounded by people, and in fact thrives on exchange and collaboration. This is an indication of his extremely social nature, and you would do well to go along with the flow instead of being jealous of his considerably large female social circle. If you want to attract a Gemini guy, be sure to brush up your general knowledge. While a Gemini is fond of talking, it is not merely idle chatter with him. He is witty, intelligent, and curious to know about people and places. He revels in exchange of information, and particularly enjoys this with people close to him. Merely being a good listener is not enough to keep up with a Gemini lover. Draw him towards you with a clever remark or two, and then be sure to maintain his interest by carrying on a scintillating conversation. Dating a Gemini guy is being on a roll for most of the time. This is a guy who loves fun, frolic, and variety. Today he may whisk you away to a rollicking time at a country dance festival, while the next day, he may turn up in a black tux for an evening of Beethoven's performance. This craving for diversity may at times seem to border dangerously on instability and fickleness. He is usually quick to grasp a new thought or appreciate a new sensation, but within the blink of an eye he may have moved on to something else. To an outsider, this could smack of restlessness and an inability to see things through. However, those close to him know that a Gemini man needs new sights and experiences to feel alive. So if you intend to keep him, make sure that you have a whole range of persona and experiences to offer him, and are willing to go along with this lifestyle without weighing him down. Multitasking is what Geminis excel in. So if you are dating a guy who has 2 jobs, plays football on Wednesdays, helps out at the local parish on weekends, works out at the gym 3 times a week, and still asks you out, chances are that he is a Gemini. Such a person is adept at doing a number of things at the same time. His high energy and ability to pierce the heart of the matter instantly allow him to carry on with his several interests simultaneously. Little wonder then that this sign is ruled by the planet Mercury, who in Greek mythology was the quick-footed messenger of gods. In addition to possessing a quicksilver wit, a Gemini guy is also fast on his feet and nimble with his hands. So if there is a flat tire that needs to be changed on the middle of the road, or a movie that starts in just 15 minutes, you can be sure that your guy will get you there. On the other hand, a Gemini may also suffer from burnouts, and at times, leave a task midway. So if you are counting on your Gemini lover's promise of helping you out with the Thanksgiving dinner on account of his self-acclaimed expertise in Southern cuisine, ensure that you have a backup plan ready. Such men are notorious for being quick to promise and not keeping it in the end. At the same time, rest assured that the excuse he will come up with for arriving late will seem entirely credible, and he will salvage himself by playing the perfect charmer to your guests. The sign of the twins indicates that a Gemini is capable of seeing both sides of a matter. Partly it is this ability that makes a Gemini such a brilliant conservationist and easy to get along with. He can endear himself to a variety of personalities, which is why he may be able to impress your nerdy cousin and diva of an aunt at the same time. The mix of yin and yang in them also makes him more flexible and adaptable in nature, which is a refreshing change if you ever have been bulldozed by typically Taurus obstinacy. However, on the flip side, you are never quite sure where you stand with a Gemini lover. The contradictory impulses within a Gemini may at times indicate a fickle and restless nature, lacking endurance and strength of purpose. Having a long-term relationship with a Gemini man may appear quite a challenge at first. This is a guy who craves new scenes and experiences, and the thought that he may quickly tire of your company may seem unnerving. But this is also a guy who is easy to please and a delight to know. He prizes a sharp intellect and takes pleasure in connecting with another person, which is more than you can say for guys who cannot look beyond a curvy figure. The ease and effectiveness with which a Gemini is likely to communicate with his partner is sure to be a boon to any long-term relationship. Above all, they are friendly, easygoing and brimming with charm, so what more do you need for a good date? Dating a Leo man. When you fall in love with a Leo guy, much like the king of the jungle whose sign they bear, men born into this zodiac 22nd of July to 23rd of August like to live life king size. This expansiveness influences all aspects of their lives, including personal relationships. Here are a few fine points on what it is to date a Leo man. A Leo typically needs to be the center of attention. Unlike a Gemini guy, who easily turns out to be the life and soul of a party, a Leo is equally at home, being a leader of men, the driving force in a boardroom, the toast of the artistic world besides ruling any other social situation. You may be disconcerted to see this trait slide very easily into vanity and a tendency to show off. But then he is the king after all. So if you have set your sights on a Leo man, learn to live under the spotlights. Better still, leave the limelight to him without being overly critical of his showy and extravagant nature. Generosity of nature is what chiefly attracts women to a Leo man. Men born under this sign are open and warm with a sincere temperament. They are expansive in their love and feelings, so you can be sure that when a Leo guy is taking you out, it will be to the best place he can afford. He is unlikely to be stingy in his love, both emotionally and materially. This guy will readily give a lot to the relationship and quickly allow you to become a part of his life, even though it may sometimes mean sharing him with his gallery of admirers. The flip side of an extravagant nature in a Leo is, however, that he tends to be arrogant. A Leo male will typically think that he knows the best and others would do well to follow him. He has very definite opinions and has never heard of things like putting yourself in someone else's shoes. This lack of flexibility or ability to see an alternate side of the matter is what makes living with a Leo sometimes trying to the nerves, especially if you are a woman who is equally certain of her own convictions. Again, his constant need to be the king at his court may leave you feeling unimportant and at times even unwanted. You may feel that you'd have been reduced to playing the courtier or even an echo of your more gregarious partner. The wise thing here would be not to rush into a direct confrontation with him, since the lion, when roused to temper, can be a very dangerous opponent. Rather, use tact and patience to appeal to his essentially generous nature and see how far you can get along. A Leo man thrives in a world of creativity and self-expression. So even if your Leo lover holds a state corporate job, he is most likely to be associated with an amateur dramatics club in his spare time, probably as a charismatic actor or director. So if you are serious about this Leo guy you are dating, make sure that there is an element of the drama in your love life. A Leo male is all about la passion, grand and extravagant gestures of love. So don't feel above devising a little spectacle now and then to hold the attention of a Leo lover. Above all, encourage his need for a creative outlet instead of grumbling about rehearsals and the time spent away from you. A Leo needs to put his own stamp on any project he undertakes, which is why personal involvement means a lot to him. Abundance of energy is yet another trait in a Leo man. Your date will think nothing of packing in a scuba diving session, a shopping spree at the antique market, a local dance recital and an excellent seafood dinner when on a short vacation to the beaches of Goa. He likes to be involved in several activities, but unlike an Aries or Gemini guy, your Leo is capable of handling big projects. This is one of the many reasons which make him a natural leader of men. But again, if you are an adrenaline junkie yourself, don't push your Leo lover into too many things at the same time. Like the king of the jungle, a Leo male too doesn't take kindly to being rushed and prodded. Instead, he likes to move at his own pace and take short breaks in between tasks. A Leo man is also exceedingly proud of his home, which is likely to be sprawling and full of larger-than-life paintings or exhibits. He is protective of his family and likes to be surrounded by them when he is at home. This, however, does not mean that he is willing to take over the routine, mundane responsibilities of a domestic life. So if you are waiting for your Leo lover to help you with the dishes after a grueling day at work, you better get started yourself. However, he is generous and sentimental about his family to a fault and will rarely deny them any comfort or luxury. One thing you must avoid when in relationship with a Leo is being unfaithful. This is a man who puts great counter on loyalty and belonging. Straying into an affair not only goes against his personal code of love and honor, but also an affront to his position as the head of a family or a leader in society. Think of the lion's rage upon discovering a lioness of his pride carrying on with an upstart, and you will know what to stay away from. A Leo male needs his woman to be elegant and colorful. Don't expect this man to see only your inner worth when you turn up in a crumpled shirt and frizzy hair. A Leo likes to be surrounded by beauty and passion, and like the sun which rules his sign, he is undoubtedly the monarch of all he surveys. Dating a Libra man. When you fall in love with a Libran guy is the 7th sign in the zodiac calendar. Libra includes all those born from 23rd September to 23rd October. Librans are lovers of beauty, society and harmony, the last of which is indicated by the symbol of the scales. Watch to know more about the finer points of a relationship with a Libra man. In his love life, a Libra man will tend to seek balance and elegance of form. He likes to be surrounded by beauty. Hardly surprising for a sign that is ruled by the planet Venus, who in classical mythology was the reigning goddess of love, sexuality, and beauty. A Libra man will shrink back from anything that is overpowering and smothering. Rather, he will be drawn to a beauty that conveys a harmonious mingling of qualities. So if you wish to attract a Libra guy, make sure he is introduced to a pleasing personality. As far as physical appearances go, avoid violent contrasts, jarring colors and too many frills. Librans usually have excellent and rather expensive tastes. They are cultured, refined and go for beautiful things. So on a date with him, take care to turn out in clean-cut designs, classic colors and an elegant style. Because of their equanimity, Librans are a huge hit in social situations. They are positive, friendly, and easy to get along with. Those born under this sign will always be ready with the right thing to say and always know how to make someone comfortable. Perhaps this is why a Libran will figure as a regular on the guest list of the best parties and gatherings in town. In fact, it is probable that you met your Libran boyfriend at such a party, where he may have been surrounded by friends and admirers, both male and female. While his excellent social skills may be an advantage when it comes to introducing him to your friends and family, you may at times be bugged by his tendency to be nice and pleasant to everybody, showing that he is not one to have strong favorites. The Libran male is well known for his sparkling charm, which crowns an intelligent and sociable personality. It is a delight to know such a guy who will intuitively make you feel like a queen and can sweep you off your feet with romantic words and gestures. If he is really smitten by you, he will think nothing of taking you through the whole courtship thing. But be prepared to find out that he is a little flirty like this with a lot of women, and his attentions are usually spread out quite evenly. This brings to the fore an interesting aspect of the Libran lover, a curious ability to remain detached from an emotional situation even as he plays Prince Charming to the hilt. Emotions are messy, inconvenient things to a Libra guy, and he prefers not to wade too deep into them. Like the element air which rules the sign, Librans can maintain an airy detachment from very personal situations. As his partner, you may at times get frustrated by his tendency to stand back and look upon a situation rather than feel it in his flesh and bones. However, instead of viewing it as a lack of emotional involvement on your Libran boyfriend's part, take it as yet another instance of his discomfort with any kind of extremes and his innate love of harmony. Suitably appropriate for a sign which bears the symbol of scales, a Libran cares deeply about fair play and justice. So if you wish to attract a Libra guy, make sure that he never sees you acting in an unjust and dishonest manner. The same sense of fair play in Libra also makes him a good diplomat and a conciliator. This is because he mentally weighs both sides of an affair and then comes to a decision. He excels in situations which demand collaboration and cooperation rather than confrontation. This is an invaluable trait in a partner, since at times of crisis, you know that he will take a deep breath, consider all options as well as aspects of the problem, and then go ahead with a spirit of cooperation. If any guy is least likely to be hot-headed, violent and hasty in breaking up, perhaps it is a Libran. At the same time, his innate sense of fair play will immediately oppose any visible instance of unjust or unfair treatment. This, coupled with a willingness to take the initiative, makes a Libra man a natural choice in resolving conflicts and opening deadlocks. The flip side of a Libran's balanced personality is a vacillating and undecided nature. He may take too long in coming to a decision, or veer from one extreme to another, before finding equilibrium in life. So you should not be surprised to know that, while in high school your boyfriend had been into acid rock, in college he discovered the austere beauty of cathedral music, and has now more or less settled for Mozart's magic. Furthermore, his aversion of conflict may mean that he does not like to face up to the difficult aspects of a relationship, and avoids talking of unpleasant or painful subjects. This could be a challenge if you are in a serious relationship with a Libra man, since an inability to confront the truth, however uncomfortable, and a tendency to buy peace, whatever the cost, is hardly healthy for long-term relationships. Librans make amazing partners. So whether you have just started dating one, or been in a relationship with one for some time, you are sure to appreciate the value of a charming, intelligent and equable personality that a Libran man brings with him. Even though he may take some time to decide if you are the woman for him, it would be worth a wait. This is because sooner or later a Libran needs a committed partner to feel truly complete in life, and when he does, you will be ready for one of the most fulfilling of relationships ever. Dating a Pisces man. When you fall in love with a Piscean guy, the 12th and last sign of the zodiac calendar, Pisces is synonymous with creativity, imagination, and versatility. People with this sign are born between 20th February and 20th March, and are ruled by both Jupiter and Neptune. Here are a few insights on what it may be to have a relationship with a Pisces man. If you are dating a Pisces guy, you can look forward to an extremely emotionally fulfilling relationship. This is not only because Pisceans are in touch with their deeper selves, but have the ability to tune into others' emotions as well. So if you have just had an unpleasant taste of a Leo's ego or a Scorpio's obsessiveness, the love of a Piscean will come as a cool and soothing balm. He is more likely than others to perceive when you are anxious or upset, and then able to draw out the reasons from you. At the same time, when you are happy about a promotion or a new hairdo, you can expect your Pisces man not only to notice it, but make your day with some nice compliments. While this ability to be emotionally responsive is crucial for any meaningful relationship, it is especially rare to come across it in a man, and thus one to be cherished wholeheartedly. One reason why a Pisces guy is able to reach out emotionally to his partner is because of his highly imaginative nature. A Piscean is immediately capable of putting himself in another person's shoes and view a situation with his or her perspective. This makes a Piscean lover naturally caring and sensitive to his partner's needs and wishes, whether emotional or physical. The empathetic imagination with which a Piscean is inherently blessed is as rare as it is gratifying, and very few other signs in the zodiac can lay claim to such a deeply sensitive nature. The fertile imagination of a Pisces can also make a love affair with him redolent with the perfume of romance. He is a guy who will sweep you off your feet to the land of the happily ever after and make you feel like the princess of a fairy tale. He is adept in the art of seduction and can lighten up your eyes with dreams of rainbow-colored hues or send thousands of bells chiming in your heart to the tune of love. In a world that is increasingly giving way to crass materialism and dry utilitarianism, it is only the seat of imagination in human hearts that is the last hope of a beautiful future. However, the flip side of a highly imaginative nature is the Piscean's tendency to withdraw from the real world. If he has been deeply wounded by a person or experience, he is likely to remove himself from his immediate surroundings and take refuge in dreams, artistic pursuits or philanthropic work. While not all Pisceans are escapists, their idealistic bent often makes the harsh realities of this world extremely painful to bear. So if you are serious about a relationship with your Piscean guy, you need to understand that their occasional withdrawal from the daily world is not a way to distance himself from you. Rather, it is the means to recharge himself emotionally so that he can come back to face the world with a stronger heart than before. An amazing versatility marks out most Pisceans from the rest of the zodiac. While Geminis have the energy to be involved in a number of things at the same time, Pisceans show a greater flair for various arts and activities. Thus, your Piscean lover may be a good swimmer, work in a major publishing house, cook Thai food as a hobby, as well as play the clarinet on weekends. Where you are concerned, a Piscean guy's versatile skills means that you get to be wooed in so many different ways. Life with a Pisces partner is bound to be enriching and full of beautiful things to see and do. While you may thank your stars to have a partner who is more emotionally responsive than other men, the same quality of a Pisces man can sometimes give way to an excessively touchy nature. He may get oversensitive to anything said about or around him. Small unintentional acts on your part can set him off on a brooding, self-pitying or even a self-destructive episode. The lack of realism may be a handicap in dealing with the many trials of life. A Pisces is prone to lose himself in a dream world where the reality is according to his making. Absent-mindedness as well as a disorganized and fluctuating nature are the troubling hallmarks of this sign. So if you are a woman for whom the practical side of life, its securities and certainties take precedence over dreams and roses, perhaps a Piscean is not the right partner for you. Also, Pisceans can get bored or disillusioned in long-term relationships when the gloss of a budding romance wears off and reality creeps. He may get discontented with the tiffs and fights that characterize any day-to-day living for a couple. Absolute commitment to a relationship is rarely possible for a Pisces man, and sooner or later he will wish to hark back to the ideal world of never-ending romance, most often conjured up by movies or books and made up by the stuff of dreams. However, as an adaptable water sign, Pisceans are highly skilled in adjusting to changing circumstances. This particular zodiac is symbolized by two fishes swimming in opposite directions, which indicate that Pisceans can change their directions to go along with the flow. Despite their head being in the clouds sometimes, they are not to be labeled as merely failed idealists or wool-gatherers. Their adaptability, together with a capacity of sensing a favorable opportunity and seizing it to their advantage, account for several success stories among Pisceans who have made good in the real world. A Piscean works best with a partner who gives him the space he needs at times as well as the practical support to put his imagination in action. Dating a Sagittarius man. When you fall in love with a Sagittarian guy, lively and outspoken, Sagittarians believe in looking at the brighter side of things. People with this zodiac sign are born between 22nd November and 21st December. The positive mantra that informs their daily life also colors their personal relationships and opens up untold worlds for their partners. Here are a few insights into dating and loving a Sagittarius man. Sagittarians are nothing if not optimistic. If you are dating a guy born into this zodiac, you will find that even the worst kind of a Monday traffic or the rainiest of days in autumn is unlikely to dampen his pleasure in seeing you. He is ready to greet an unpleasant experience with the same smile that it lavishes on a happy occasion. This positive outlook is one of the most attractive qualities in Sagittarians, and few people are able to resist the sunshine that radiates from these happy beings. A thirst for knowledge is what distinguishes a Sagittarian from someone who is merely happy-go-lucky. If the man you are dating has an unquenchable desire to discover the unknown and learn about everything new that he comes across, chances are that he is a Sagittarian. Like the archer, which symbolizes this zodiac sign, a Sagittarius aims high at the star of knowledge and reaches for all that is waiting to be discovered. Your Sagittarian lover is equally likely to be thrilled at the prospect of travels to far and near destinations as of a quiet evening by the fireside with a good book, since both entail encounters with rich unknown experiences. If you intend to keep this guy, make sure that he gets enough intellectual stimulation from you. Discuss with him his favorite books, rock bands and historical figures. You may find that the great explorers of 17th century Europe or the stalwarts of 16th century Renaissance constitute as ideal characters from the past. Intelligent conversation and a well-rounded personality are your best bet if you want your Sagittarian lover to remain interested in you. The best part about a Sagittarian's search for knowledge is that it makes him liberal and open-minded. Unlike a Virgo's meticulous scholarship, which has a tendency to slide into pedantry, a Sagittarius exults in a more humanist and inclusive outlook. This means that if you are looking for a guy who believes in genuine and broad-minded partnership as the basis of a successful relationship, then your search is likely to stop with a Sagittarius. Men born under this sign are more likely than others to settle into a platonic relationship over a length of time, so think twice if you believe that physical intimacy is the be-all and end-all of a romantic relationship. The all-consuming fires of passion are not for a Sagittarius lover. He would rather be your companion and soulmate for life. The desire for crossing newer horizons, which makes the Sagittarian a much-read and much-traveled man, can also mean that he might disappear from your life every now and then. If you are the kind of woman who believes that two people in love with one another should be physically accessible to each other all the time, then perhaps a Sagittarius guy is not the one for you. From time to time, he may need a change of scene to make him feel alive. Being stuck in one task or place for long periods can make him feel tied down and claustrophobic. This is also one reason why Sagittarians are unlikely to be found living and working according to an artificially enforced routine. They thrive in artistic careers or those like medicine and social work, which entail a lot of motion. This restlessness is not one every woman can understand, and often to a partner it may appear to smack of unwillingness to commit or undertake responsibility. However, a Sagittarius man is a freewheeling spirit, and trying to pin him down will only make him more eager to break free. A Sagittarian's open, broad-minded nature makes him a favorite among friends and family. He is fun-loving, jovial, and easily highlights the brighter side of life. While all these traits endear him to people who know him well, a tendency to be outspoken, on the other hand, has been known to ruin some potential relationships for Sagittarians. Their unfortunate penchant for saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, and perhaps to the wrong person, has been long the butt of many jokes. So if you are planning to take your boyfriend to meet the family over the holidays, be very careful of any ill-timed jokes about Aunt Joe's new hairdo or Cousin Howard's new squeeze. However, as anyone close to a Sagittarius will be ready to vouch, his comments, no matter how unfortunate, are never malicious, and because of his genuine good nature are always forgiven, eventually. The downside of the proverbial Sagittarian optimism is that they tend to forget the practical side of life. With Jupiter as the ruling planet, a Sagittarian is thought to be luck's favorite child, and therefore can be often found safely sailing through the many whirlpools of fate. Whether this is the result of actual good luck or merely the workings of overindulgent friends and family may be open to debate, but what happens over time is that such a Sagittarian begins to wander through life thinking that someone or the other will bail him out when the going gets tough. Discipline, hard work, and being realistic are important life skills often missing in Sagittarius men. So if you are a woman who prefers security and predictability in her partner over a brilliant and versatile nature, maybe you should look elsewhere. A relationship with a high-aiming archer is not every woman's cup of tea. It will require her to be patient with his wanderings, practical to balance out his high-flying optimism, and intelligent to match the brilliant workings of his mind. However, in return, what she will get is a deep, abiding relationship based on honest and genuine companionship. And as far as trades go, who wouldn't want to settle for one like that? Dating a Scorpio man, When you fall in love with a Scorpion guy, Scorpio is the 8th sign of the zodiac calendar and includes those born between 23rd October and 21st of November. Known for their intense and unyielding nature, Scorpios make for unforgettable relationships. Here are a few things to enjoy as well as be careful of when dating a Scorpio man. For Scorpios, love is an all-or-nothing experience. There are no half measures with them when wooing the partner of their dreams. So if you have just started dating a Scorpio guy, get ready to be completely swept off your feet. He is sure to go the whole length of whining and dining you, besides landing the most amazing gifts in your lap. More than that, you will be completely bowled over by the depth and intensity of his emotions. Love is for him a throbbing, blood-red passion, and once is sure that you are the woman for him, he will be ready to go to the end of the world to make you his. The flip side of a Scorpio lover's intensity is an excess which can overwhelm the most sedate of women. While this trait seems flattering in the early stages of a relationship, after a while an emotional life which is perpetually high-strung may become difficult to enjoy. To the Scorpio man, love is an all-consuming passion. Not only does he take his love life very seriously, he expects his partner to reciprocate his feelings with the same white-heat intensity. This is likely to scare away, or at least unnerve, women who are less comfortable with such overwhelming emotions. This is perhaps why most of the times Scorpio men are compatible with women from their own zodiac sign who are able to withstand and even return their intensity. Interestingly, however, Scorpios are well known for their secrecy. Despite the fact that they feel and believe strongly, they are able to hide their emotions beneath the calm and deliberate exterior. So when you first meet a Scorpio guy, you may be put off by his cautious and reserved nature. But underneath that still facade, you can be sure of a keen mind, working furiously to analyze your every word, move, and display of emotion. Scorpios are believed to have very perceptive natures and can often see through superficiality, a quality which incidentally they hate. If you happen to really like a Scorpio guy, your best bet would be to be completely honest about yourself and your feelings for him. The more recourse you take to subterfuge and deceit, the further he will move away from you. An extreme temperament is yet another distinctive characteristic of a Scorpio man. His world is largely made up of black and white entities with only rare shades of gray. At first you may find him cautious and reticent regarding your relationship. However, once he decides you are the partner for him, he is likely to amaze you with the intensity of his love and emotions. Likewise, when a relationship does not work out for a Scorpio, the relevant partner will cease to exist completely for him. If you happen to turn out as an ex, don't even expect to continue as friends with the guy or harbor secret hopes of enticing him to return to you. You can throw as many tantrums as you please, or sell your soul to the devil. Once a Scorpio guy leaves, you have probably seen the last of him. In keeping with the Scorpio penchant for extremes, is a possessive streak in relationships. Once you have said yes to your Scorpio lover, he will expect you to honor that in letter and spirit. Unlike a Libran lover who can view things with equanimity, don't expect your Scorpio guy to understand that your lunch date with an ex was just about keeping up with each other. For a Scorpio man, you either belong to him completely, or you better have nothing to do with him at all. This possessiveness may turn out to be one of the major hurdles in a relationship with a Scorpio man. So before you decide to say yes, ask yourself if you are ready for this level of commitment in a relationship. Related to the above characteristic of a Scorpio guy is his legendary vindictiveness, aptly symbolized by the scorpion, which carries a deadly sting in its tail. He is one person who will never forgive a hurt that he has received, and no matter how much water has flown under the bridge, never forget it either. This hard, revengeful nature is one of the worst-kept secrets of the Scorpio male, and if you ever happen to dump one, be careful of ever crossing paths with him again. However, one could see this as the other side of a steadfast and deeply perceptive nature which goes to the heart of the matter and sees it as it actually is. This degree of acuteness makes it difficult for a Scorpio to be forgiving of deceit and duplicity, and is probably responsible for his hard, unyielding nature. When dating a Scorpio guy, you may find him disappear from your life now and then. This is because he needs to be by himself from time to time, probably as a way of balancing out his excessive involvement in emotions and surroundings. This is not only typical of the extreme temperament of a Scorpio, but also, one suspects, necessary to maintain the required level of sanity and perspective in daily living. So the next time you find your Scorpio boyfriend turn elusive, he is probably recharging his batteries in his hideout, tucked away in a remote spot near the sea or in the mountains. Loving or hating with the tenacity and intensity of a Scorpion, there are no half measures with the man who bears this zodiac sign. A relationship with a Scorpio man may either be the worst or most fantastic you have ever had, but one thing it will not be is forgettable. Dating a Taurus man. When you fall in love with a Taurean guy, Taurus, the second sign of the zodiac, includes all those born from 20th April to 20th May. Being a fixed earth sign, it lends rootedness, constancy and physicality to its subjects, and the same qualities also influence the love life of Taurus men. If it is sensuality that turns you on, a Taurus is just the man for you. But remember to give it to him first, and you will get it back 10 times over. This is because a Taurus guy revels in the sense of touch. Physical intimacy, softness and tactile pleasures are what turn him on. So when his birthday comes around, look for the smooth of a silk scarf or the warm softness of a Persian rug. Show your love with frequent kisses, hugs and cuddles, and you can be sure of having your bull by the nose forever. This brings us to another cherished quality of a Taurus lover, his loyalty and steadfastness. Here is a man who believes that love is for keeps. You may at first be exasperated by a guy who seems to take forever to make up his mind about you. But lady, once he does and decides you are the one for him, you can be certain of his fidelity and trustworthiness. At the same time, be careful of your own indiscretions, since this is a man who takes infidelity very hard. If you cheat on him, no matter why, and he comes to know of it, you can be pretty sure of kissing the relationship goodbye. A Taurus man loves to be indulged since his earthy nature is flattered by all the delights of the senses. Therefore, a perfect evening for him would most probably mean a spread of good food and wine, excellent music and the sight of sparkling crystal dinnerware. This love for the good life also means that he is very proud of the table he keeps, and that his social life is likely to revolve around friends who also like to eat and drink instead of spending an evening at the art gallery. So unless you are contented to be by yourself, gear up to play the perfect hostess. The good thing about this is that, if you do it right, you can be sure of making a place in his heart and hearth for a long time to come. Above all, a Taurus man likes his women to be feminine. So if you swore by Germaine Greer in college, or have a habit of doing a routine from Coyote Ugly when in the mood, you better start treading a new path. If you want to keep your Taurus lover, make sure he sees you in flowing gowns or lacy lingerie, no leather and whips please. Again, it would be a good idea to keep your makeup soft and subtle and wear your hair in maybe long loose curls. His sensual nature demands grace and softness from women, and if you think this is the man for you, it wouldn't hurt to work a little hard towards keeping him. If you imagine a Taurus lover would romance you by writing poetry about the color of your eyes, think again. A Taurus man, true to his sign, is practical and grounded in reality. He might not wax eloquent about a setting sun or a starry night when you are with him, but you can be sure that the mortgage is in the bank and there is enough put by to splurge on your yearly vacation. This man does not like building castles in the air, but knows how best to provide you with a secure and solid relationship. When in a relationship with a Taurus male, it would be a good idea not to play with his emotions or treat his feelings lightly. By nature he is a gentle and calm person. Think of the bull placidly grazing in his yard, but when roused to a temper, he can turn into a fearsome creature. He is likely to leave others in peace if he is left in peace himself. Too much interference with and questioning about his life do not go down well with this person. So if you are serious about your Taurus lover, learn to live with his set ways and routine comforts instead of seeking out stimulation and momentary thrills. If you are still wondering why this zodiac carries the sign of the bull, think of the many times you have tried to persuade your Taurus date to experiment with a new hobby or cuisine and failed. Bullheadedness is perhaps the most obvious characteristic of Taurus men. When dating a Taurus man, you may sometimes find him exceedingly obstinate and unable to see beyond his own point of view. This unyielding nature may appear to you a perverse exercise in stubbornness, but it is only a bull's way, remaining steadfast in his course and loyal to his beliefs. So be careful of contradicting his words and wishes, especially before company. If you do need to turn him around, use tact and patience, and he may just appear less opinionated and more willing to go along with your wishes. The practical nature of a Taurus man may sometimes make him appear too materialistic. He is unlikely to pursue an activity merely for the pleasure of it, like trekking up to the mountain peak just to get an amazing view of the valley below. He is more likely to settle for an activity like skeet shooting with a real reward at the end of it. This materialistic streak is also reflected in his over-attachment to money and possessions, as well as the fact that he needs to own something in order to take pleasure in it. A Taurus man makes one of the best lovers among all other zodiac signs. His loyalty, sensuality, and permanence are an incredible combination, and once he decides that you are the woman for him, he will go the whole hog to keep you happy. Dating a Virgo man. When you fall in love with a Virgo guy, those born in between 23rd August and 23rd September carry the zodiac sign of the Virgo or the Virgin. Perfectionism is both the boon and bane of people born under this sign, and naturally it informs their personal relationships as well. Here are a few things to keep in mind when dating a Virgo. A Virgo man is legendary for his pursuit of perfectionism. There is nothing shoddy or half-hearted about what he does. A believer in the maxim that what is worth doing is worth doing well, he is often exacting and uncompromising in his high standards. The best way that this will affect his love life will be a wholehearted involvement in his partner and what makes her happy. While going out with this guy, you can be sure that he has done his homework. In other words, he will take you to a restaurant which he personally knows has the best service, order the tastiest of cuisines, and choose the finest of wines. The flip side of this perfectionism is that he will demand the same level of excellence from you. The very search for the optimum which ensured that he bought the most perfect of gifts for your birthday is likely to point out if your ikebana arrangement is less than flattering, or the pie charts in your boardroom presentation slightly less than accurate. Having said that, it needs to be emphasized that this critical streak in a Virgo is never for selfish reasons, it is most often to help others be the best they can. If he does point out a lack of seasoning in your bolognese sauce, it is not because he is fond of spicy food himself, but because he does not want your lovingly cooked holiday dinner to be a disaster. The meticulous attention to detail that a Virgo is famous for is likely to inform your love life as well. A Virgo lover may pour long and deep into the dynamics of your relationship and think for ways to improve what is already there, which if you are lucky would also mean how to make you happy. This is particularly welcome in a guy, since men are notorious for sticking to the superficials in a relationship. However, don't freak out if you find your Virgo boyfriend obsessing about some aspect of your love life, since it is in his fastidious nature to read too much in between the lines. One of the most pleasing aspects of a Virgo man is his modest and sedate temperament, as befitting one who carries the sign of the Virgin. For one who has perhaps survived the megalomania of a Leo or the bossiness of a Taurus, it is a relief to bask in the soothing rays of a moderate and temperate Virgo nature. At the same time, he may be quite surprisingly insecure inside, and so you may need to assure him of your love and fidelity from time to time. A Virgo loves to please, and this is a delight coming from men who have been genetically wired, as it were, to believe that they are the dominant species. If dating a Virgo, you will be thrilled to find that he will go an extra mile to get you the exact seats you wanted at a concert, or the very shade of blue that you wanted in a scarf, so that it can go with your new skirt. This willingness to please and help others is what makes a Virgo excel in situations that demand teamwork. Trust a Virgo with a job and you know he will not only get it done, but also get it right the first time. A Virgo takes his tasks very seriously and has a high sense of responsibility. This trait, coupled with his innate industrious and hardworking nature, makes him the one person to invest with matters of the greatest importance. Which, to come to think of it, is not such a bad thing if you want to show him off to your successful family. If you rate practicality higher than sentiment even in matters of love, then a Virgo is definitely the man for you. Despite their inward and pedantic nature, a Virgo is realistic and practical. While he may not write volumes of poetry praising the arch of your left foot, he will make sure that you have the most comfortable rooms in your vacation suite with exactly the right view of the ocean. This is because the Virgo man is down to earth, and even as a lover he is interested in those actions that end in tangible results. So when he talks about a plan, you can be sure that his words will be followed by action, unlike a Gemini who is more likely to talk just for the thrill of hearing his own voice. Multitasking comes naturally to all Virgos. Ruled by the planet Mercury, who was also the swift-footed messenger of gods in classical mythology, a Virgo can handle several tasks, physical as well as intellectual, at the same time. They thrive in high-pressure competitive environments which bring out the best of this industrious and meticulous nature. If you are wondering how this will impact your love life, remember that your Virgo lover can prove to be something of a workaholic. He may have a tendency to put off parties when neck-deep in some project and may find it difficult to separate his personal and professional lives. However, if you know that this is the guy for you, find a way of going on with your social life without him, and rest assured that once he is through with his tasks, he will transfer the same single-minded attention to you. The combination of an industrious and perfectionist nature is often responsible for Virgo men taking their time in deciding about a life partner. He will say yes only when he is sure about you, but once he does, you can be certain that this is something he really wants and is not a momentary affair.